Welcome back. Today we're going to look at Inventor Tic-Tac-Toe day number 1 for Inventor. We're going to draw the box for our tic-tac-toe game. To begin with, I have Inventor opened on my computer. I also have sitting next to my computer our multi-view drawing, which looks like this. From here, this is where we're going to take and we're going to find all the dimensions to create our tic-tac-toe game in Inventor. Let's get a couple things out of the way first. We're going to begin a new drawing, so we're going to go up to the orange file in the top left-hand corner of the screen, and we're going to slide down to New. We're going to choose Standard.ipt. Remember, IPT stands for I is Inventor, PT is Part. So we're going to click to select that, and down here towards the bottom of this window, we're going to click Create. Next, we're going to go up to the top in our ribbon bar and we're going to choose the drawing with the green plus mark. That's starting a 2D sketch. And 95% of the time we always are going to choose the XY plane. And for our sake we're always going to be on the XY plane in our class. So let's click on the XY plane. One of the problems that students run into is they forget to let go of the mouse button. If you click and drag with the mouse button held down, you can see that it kind of offsets a plane. Okay, this is not something that we want. And remember our two best friends, if something goes wrong, we always press the escape key, drops the tool that we're working with, and let's go back and select that 2D sketch drawing with the green plus mark. Click and let go of your mouse button on the XY plane. Now before we start drawing, it's always good practice to click front in your world view cube. That zooms all. And it zooms us out so things are in view for us. Now, we're going to take and we're going to create our rectangle for our tic-tac-toe game. So let's take a look at our drawing. If we take a look at our drawing, the outside portion of my tic-tac-toe game, right here, if we follow the extension up from the edge and follow the extension up from the other edge, we can see that the number in between that is 3.48. And if I see the top of my block for my tic-tac-toe game and the bottom of my block, I bring those straight out, I can see that drawing is also 3.48 for a dimension. So my block is 3.48 inches by 3.48 inches. Okay, we're going to take and transfer that onto our Inventor. So to create our rectangle, we're going to come up to the top and we're going to select our rectangle tool. We're going to take our cursor, which has a yellow dot on it, and our origin, we know this from math class, that is our x-axis going across here. This is our y-axis. And we're going to draw an upper right-hand quadrant because these are all positive numbers. So I'm going to put my cursor with the yellow dot on top of the origin's yellow dot, and I get a green dot. Once I get a green dot, I'm going to hold my mouse steady. I'm going to click and let go of the mouse button and stretch out a rectangle. Be careful that you don't automatically click once again. A lot of students do that. But if you do, click and place that. It's not a big deal. We're going to go to with our two best friends. Press the escape key on the keyboard. That lets go of the rectangle tool. And I'm going to come up here to my second best friend right above the sketch tab, which is our undo arrow. I'm going to click that to undo it. And let's try that again. Remember not to click a second time. So yellow dot on my cursor, yellow dot on my origin. When they meet up together, I get a green dot. Hold our mouse steady, click, let go of the mouse button, stretch out a rectangle, and take your hand off the mouse. You can see that as I move my mouse, the numbers in the boxes change. The top one that's highlighted blue is where we're going to enter our dimension in. And remember, that dimension was 3.48. Now how do I get to the other box? We're going to get to the other box by taking a look at our keyboard that's connected to our computer, and we're going to press the tab key. The tab key is on the left hand side of the keyboard. I'm going to press the tab key, and you see how that highlighted box is now the vertical dimension. I press it again, it's the horizontal dimension. I press it again, it's the vertical dimension. So with that vertical dimension box highlighted, I'm going to take and change that number by typing 3.48 3.48. 3.48, 3.48. Once I have both of those boxes at 3.48, I'm going to press the Enter key on the keyboard. Okay? Now I'm still holding on to my rectangle tool. I need to let go of that. So I'm going to press the Escape key on my keyboard, and you can see my rectangle tool is highlighted blue. And when I press it, that blue highlighted's gone away, and my cursor's back to the arrow point pick tool. Okay? So now I have my box drawing for the outside of my tic-tac-toe game. I'm going to come up to the top. I'm going to go click Finish Sketch in my ribbon bar, and this is the green check mark all the way on the right hand side of my ribbon bar. That puts it into 3D mode and takes it off the screen. Now remember, my World View Cube, there's a Home button that's here. I can click into the Home button, or I can click on the magnifying glass piece of paper and that brings it into view. Or I can click on my Home button. Okay? So 3.48, 3.48, there's my rectangle. And now we're going to take and give this some depth. When I take a look at my drawing, my multi-view drawing that's sitting next to our computer, this is my front view, my top view, and my right side view. And on my right side view is where I find out my depth of this part. And if I follow the front of my part up and the extension line that goes with it, and the back of my part straight up and the extension line that goes with it, the number that's in between there is the depth of my box that I'm going to extrude. In this case, it's 1.5 or 1.5 inches. Back on my Inventor, we're going to come up to the top in our ribbon bar. You can see that our draw tools have changed to our 3D model tools, and we're going to find the extrude that's up here in our ribbon bar towards the left hand side of our ribbon bar. Click on extrude. Now you can see that this arrow, the orange arrow, is pointing towards us. We want to have that flipped around. So we're going to change the direction of that arrow the way that it's going to point. We're going to take and choose our second option, which is the flipped arrow. So we're going to click on flipped, which is direction number 2. And then we're going to highlight this dimension that's here for the distance A. Highlight that, and we're going to change it to 1.5, which is 1.5 inches. And then click the OK button in this area. Okay? Now that we have the outside of our tic-tac-toe game block drawn, we got to go through and work on our saves. So we're going to come up here to the top. We're going to go to our orange file, and we're going to go down to Save As, since this is our first save. So I'm going to click on Save As. And once again, in this pull-down menu here, I want to go all the way down to the bottom to my H drive. First initial, last name, 000. And then in here, I'm going to take, and instead of the file name that comes in as part number 1, I'm going to call this TTT, which means tic-tac-toe, G-A-M-E, tic-tac-toe game. And then click Save. Okay, once that save takes place, you are done, and congratulations with creating the outside of your tic-tac-toe game. We're looking forward to creating the horizontal slots, the marble storage holes, and the play game front board for you in the next upcoming videos. We'll see you in the next video.